Hi everyone, I'm Celeste, and today I'm here to share with you a little reading project that I have going for the month of May. I originally got the idea from Kate Howe on her channel. She had shared a little, not an infographic, but just a little chart that you could print out. It was a little printable with a little mini theme for each month of the year. And for May, it was animals. And so I've kind of run with this. I have a number of books about animals that I'm going to be enjoying in the month of May. A few of them I have finished. I'll share those with you as well. And then there are a number that I am going to be reading as this month continues. The first book that I wanted to discuss with you is Thomasina by Paul Gallico. This is my vintage copy. It is from the 1950s. Yes, 1957. And I have started reading this. Now, a couple months ago, I did invite you to join me in reading this book. No pressure. But I would love to have some buddy readers out there. I've never done a buddy read with anybody. And so I think this would be a really fun one to do it with. I can't guarantee, since I haven't finished the book, that it's going to be marvelous or wonderful or a safe bet, but so far I'm really enjoying it. Now there is also the movie Thomasina, and that was made by Disney, and it's just a charming, charming movie. It stars Patrik McGowan, among many other people. It also stars the little girl from Mary Poppins, and the little boy, actually, from Mary Poppins as well. So I would like to invite you to read Thomasina in the month of May along with me. And I would also invite you to watch the Disney film, which is available for free right here on YouTube, so you don't need a TV to do it. You can watch it for free on YouTube, and I will post the link in the description box down below. This is the story of a cat named Thomasina, who belongs to a little girl in Scotland, in Argyll, and the little girl's name is Mary Rua. And her father is a Scottish veterinarian. He's a very gruff individual who has lost a love in his life, and he has become an embittered, kind of a nasty man. But he does love Mary Rua very much. And he did not want to be a veterinarian, so he has some bitterness about that. He wanted to be a doctor. So the story goes on from there. It also involves a red-headed witch and a number of animals along with Thomasina. The story is narrated by Thomasina, and Thomasina thinks it's her story, but it's really a much broader story about love, forgiveness, acceptance, and a lot of it is about nature, I would say, as well, from what I can see so far. So the Scottish veterinarian, who in the movie is played by Patrik McGowan, his name is Andrew McDewey, and they live in Invernock in Argyll. So I invite you to read along. Let me know if you'll be doing that, or if you want to watch the movie. Again, it's available right here on YouTube, so I hope you'll do one, the other, or both. And yeah, we'll just have some fun with this. It's very, very casual. So that is the first book. And then I also wanted to read James Herriot's All Creatures Great and Small. Now, I read this when I was a little girl, and I had another copy of this book, which was quite popular back then. And I've so enjoyed the renaissance of the show, of the story. And in fact, I did get the Audible version as well, and that is narrated by Nicholas Ralph, who plays James Herriot in the TV series. So he just has such a marvelous voice with such a soft brogue, and so it's really worth getting on Audible as well. So I've been enjoying this. I'm probably about 75 pages in at this point, and really enjoying it. A very different kind of veterinary surgeon than Andrew McDewey in Thomasina. And then another book by James Herriot that I'll be reading with my son is James Herriot's Treasury for Children. This is a beautiful, beautiful, large picture book anthology of a number of James Herriot's short stories for children. And oh, they're just timeless and wonderful, and the illustrations are marvelous. And so, of course, we have all kinds of stories about horses and dogs. And oh, isn't that just a beautiful, beautiful dog there? We used to have one of those dogs, and his name was Angus McDuff. But in any event, yeah, so this is full of gorgeous illustrations. Let me just see if I can find a few for you here. Here's another one with the dog, the shaggy little creature as it's being called in the story. There is, let's see. Here's another great one. And so it's some of James Herriot's stories which have been adapted for children, and well, children of all ages, but just gorgeous illustrations. I highly recommend this collection. And then in January I had shared this book with you, which is Tiger Tiger Burning Bright, and this is a gorgeous poetry anthology for every season of the year and every month of the year, and it's all animal poems with beautiful illustrations. Let me just see if I can bring one up for you here. Here's one. An Elephant is Born. Sorry about the ring light. If I bring it back, can you see it better? Maybe. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to digging into this one and just savoring all of the poems and the illustrations. This is a heavy book. It's beautiful, though. It's got this cloth binding on the side, and look at that tiger. Is he not very handsome? So that is a collection of beautifully illustrated poems about animals. It is a book which is edited, and the poems are selected by Fiona Waters, and the illustrations are by Britta Teckentrup, and I really like her illustrations quite a bit. So Tiger Tiger Burning Bright. Then I will also be listening on Audible to The Book of Eels, Our Enduring Fascination with the Most Mysterious Creature in the Natural World. That is written by Patrik Svensson, and this is sort of a tell-all book about eels through history, eels throughout the ages, and it talks about eels in social history, eels in evolution, eels in scientific research, eels in cuisine. The reason I'm mainly focusing on this book is because for second quarter of 2024, I am participating in Historathon, and this time it's focusing on history that goes up to 1500. It will include the sort of Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, and starting of the Tudor period. And so eels were actually a staple of the medieval diet, and so I find find that really fascinating, the fact that medieval people had eel traps, eel keeps, and so forth, and they had them prepared for pies and lots of other things. So I am interested in learning about eels. Additionally, along with my son, I'll be reading Charlotte's Web, an old favorite of mine, by E.B. White, with illustrations by Garth Williams. And everyone knows Charlotte's Web, I think. It's a marvelous, marvelous, heart-rending tale. It's tender, it's bittersweet. It is the story of a livestock pig named Wilbur, who lives on a farm with a little girl named Fern Arable, and a spider whose name is Charlotte. And it's a tale about life, death, home, the big world beyond your front gates, the danger that can lurk there, but also the salvation and mercy and love that can exist. So I'm really looking forward to a reread of that with my son. Additionally, there are 3 books that I have already finished, and yesterday was a very rainy, kind of miserable weather day, and I also had a kind of a migraine headache to boot, so I wasn't feeling great, so I decided to just have a cozy reading day, and I was able to finish all 3 of these little books on animals. So, you know, in order to participate in the animal fair, as it were, you don't have to read a big, huge book about animals. You can just, you know, read something small. And so the first one that I read was almost a novella. It's hard to even call a novel because it's only like 140 pages. It is called The Guest Cat by Takashi Hiraide. And this was a sweet little story. Takashi Hiraide is actually a Japanese poet, and it is translated from the Japanese by Eric Selland. It's a strange little book. This was a bestseller in France, believe it or not, and it won some awards in Japan. If you're looking for a real definite story arc that begins, it has a definite narrative from start to finish, you're not going to find that here. It is more like poetry or poetic prose in the sense that the author will focus on a kitchen window and how light comes through the window and how a cat comes into the house and visits, and how it eats and how it disappears all of a sudden. It's about a relationship between a writer and his wife who also writes. They're both in editing and publishing and writing. They rent out this little house, a little cottage apartment in Japan, and this cat starts to show up at their door and at their window, and it's sort of about how it affects their relationship, and it's just like little moments, little vignettes about how the cat looks in sunlight and how the cat eats things and how the 2 human characters are relating to the cat. It's very strange. It won't be for everybody, but I enjoyed it. It was worth an afternoon. Yeah, so I finished that one. And then this one was super cute. This is The Great Cake Mystery by Alexander McCall Smith. See if I can get that in the light without the ring. And so this is part of the Precious Ramotswe series, the #1 Ladies Detective Agency. But these are some books that Alexander McCall Smith wrote for children. And but he, as he says, children of all ages. And so it's about how Precious Ramotswe started out when she was a little girl at school and how she decided that she wanted to be a detective. So super cute. It will take you maybe half an hour to get through it. There are several adventures that you can purchase in this little series. This particular one is The Great Cake Mystery, Precious Ramotswe's very first case. And the illustrations are also very nice by Ian McIntosh, and they're done in gray, black, white, and red. And they're just really sweet. I really like it a lot. So yeah, it's how she got her beginning, and I will buy the next one. I'll probably buy all three. So there's that. That would be a very easy way to fulfill animal reading in the month of May. And then I also read this little mini penguin classic by Mary Kingsley. It's called A Hippo Banquet. And Mary Kingsley lived in the 1800s. She lived in Africa. She was what they call a pioneering Victorian female explorer. She describes dodging elephants and fights off a leopard with a stool. So I enjoyed this. It is divided into 4 little vignettes. There's a hippo banquet, 5 gorillas, elephant hunt, and fight with a leopard. And although it is in parts about hunting, Mary Kingsley says in here that she doesn't like hunting. She always tries to not kill the animals. She likes to watch them. She likes to save them from others and so forth. But she really is a good writer. Now, Hippo Banquet, the hippos don't actually play that large a part in that story. It's like one little paragraph within the whole story, so I was kind of surprised and disappointed about that. But the other stories are really good, and her descriptions of nature are just marvelous. Yeah, so this is cute, and this would take you probably, again, half an hour to read. So that's everything I have for today. I hope you'll join me either in reading Thomasina or watching the movie Thomasina, or both, or, you know, joining in some other little way to support Kate's May reading challenge of read something with animals in it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to these books, and I'm going to have a sort of part 2 to this video, which I'll be sharing with you next week, which will focus on a particular type of animal. So look out for that one. Until then, I hope you're doing well, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.